Speaking of vomit and rage, hey, fellow crabbers, it's Joe, buddy, it's your old pal, R.D. Reynolds here, once again with WrestleCrap Radio. And as always, on the other end of the tin cannon string is the Starman to my fighter Hayabusa, Mr. Blade Braxton.
Dude, that is the best compliment you've ever given me.
Well, you know, we have Starman. I mean, he wasn't as good as Fighter Hayabusa.
Fighter Hayabusa sucked.
Fighter Hayabusa, you had to be a good player to win with him, and hitting the back brain kick. That took a lot of talent. Yes, kids. Once again, it's time for obscure wrestling news. All the news that fits. Well, it was they awarded the best-selling porno of the year.
Really?
Yes, they did. And it would, in fact, be, well, you want to guess, maybe.
Could it be the life-changing, to anyone who's viewed it, One Night in China?
It was One Night in China.
Oh.
What the hell else are they peddling out there? Let's go to something a little more entertaining, a little nicer, and let's talk about our award. Speaking of awards, award-winning question of the week.
We need some music for that.
We do. We desperately
do. Maybe some trumpets, blaring, or clowns, laughing, something.
It's from Too Cold Mateo. How could the boogeyman have bitten off Jillian Hall's mole if he has no teeth? So this Lita thing, all I can say is, you sent me this photo of you two, and I put it right on the main page of the site, just like you asked for. All I can say is this better not be some stupid swerve, this better be decent. You're not getting out of this week. I know you hit the play button on the haiku music, but you are not going to get away without telling us what's going on with you and Lita. So let's hit the haiku. You're not getting out of it. We always end with the haiku. You're trying to sneak out the back door because you hinted last week that you had some deal with Lita, and you're trying to get out of telling us about that, but you're not going to. So you've got this haiku ready to go, I hope.
Yeah.
And so apparently you have some deal with Lita. This is what you teased last week, and then in the middle of this week, you send me this photo of you two. Now obviously you're hinting at something. You're claiming something's going on with you two. You made 2 weeks in a row she was the subject of the haiku, and you've been hinting that there's something going on with you and Lita. Everybody wants to know, and I know what you were trying to do. You were trying to get that haiku in there and think I'd forget. You were thinking RD would forget, and you would just scoot out the door, and we would just let this whole Lita thing go. You're gonna tell us what's going on.
What can I say? You saw a look in her eyes last Raw. She looked disappointed. You know why? Because she was thinking about me.
She was, huh?
Yep.
I go on. What's the story? You claim to have some past with her, or maybe it's going on now. I don't know.
No, it's not going on now. It's only going on in her head. You know the movie Titanic? Yes.
All right,
I've
seen that. I've heard of it. It's only the biggest grossing movie of all time. I think most people have heard of Titanic. Yes.
Right. That redheaded vixen, Kate Winslet. She spent her whole life, thinking about that one moment with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
Right. I'm the Leo DiCaprio to Lita's redhead vixenish
How ironic that you're making Titanic references.
Because, check this out.
Mm-hmm.
We were in Kansas City. It was at a car show, in fact. This was
very romantic.
This was the day after the news broke about the whole Jeff Hardy Edge Lita situation.
Mm-hmm.
So she was depressed. She was down.
Mm-hmm.
And the look in her eyes.
So you see Lita at some car show.
Right.
And you two lock eyes.
Lock eyes.
And
immediately, she wouldn't let go of my hand.
Uh-huh.
And she virtually undressed me with her eyes.
Oh, virtually undressed you with her eyes. And then you guys went someplace, right? You guys went someplace and something happened.
No.
So the whole story that you've been teasing for a week is that you met Lita at a car show. Is this correct? And you got your picture taken with her. And this is the big thing that you've been teasing for a week?
Run, Heidenreich. Run away. Live to anal rape some other day. In porn. Most of the times when I was young, I had to keep the sound down. It was the times I got busted with the corn oil that got me in trouble.
Well, speaking of you getting busted with the corn oil,
I kid. That was my friend Don.
Would you care? I don't want to know about the. I don't want to hear about you and Don busting each other with corn oil. That sounds very bothersome. Speaking of you and corn oil, though, which I never. Let me just say, that is the absolute last time I will ever make that segue.
Make what?
Speaking of Blade Braxton and corn oil.
Speaking of corn oil.
I almost thought you said the cornhole.
Yeah.
Speaking of Blade's cornhole.